In 2012, I became eligible to become a hospitality intern in one of the top resorts in Queensland. In this video, I will share my story and how I applied for a paid internship program in Australia. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sophia, your Pinay Adelaidian. I'm an Adelaidian guiding you through my journey in the land down under. Now, before I begin, I would like to remind you that I am not a migration consultant or an agent. The content of this video is based on personal accounts or my own interpretation of the information previously used. I will put a link into the description box below on where to find this relevant information on Australian visas and travel restrictions, and also where to find a registered migration agent in your local area. Back in 2012, I was qualified to apply for an internship visa or the occupational training visa called Subclass 442. Now, this temporary visa allows you to complete a structured, supervised, workplace-based training program or academic research in Australia on a temporary basis. Now, the visa Subclass 442 or occupational trainee visa is no longer existing. It is now called 407 or training visa. Although I understand that 407 is an updated version of 442 visa, the information that I'm going to share may be relevant in the preparation of your visa application process. Now, there are two entities involved in the process. Firstly is finding a migration consultant or an agent that provides a training program or an internship program specifically tailored to your skill set. My migration consultant has a direct partnership with the internship program provider based in Australia. Now, this provider is the second entity of the whole process. Now, there are certain criteria that needs to be considered to be eligible for the occupational training visa or the internship program in Australia. So one of the things that you need to make sure of is that you are a recent graduate from an overseas educational institution. So in my case, I was a fresh graduate in 2010 in Manila. I had to apply for the 442 visa within 2 years, otherwise I wouldn't be able to eligible after 2012. You have to be 18, over 18 to be qualified for this. In 2012 I was 23, so that was a tick. You have previously employed for 12 months in your specific field. In my case, I was fortunate enough to be employed in the US for 1 year for a previous internship. You have to make sure that you can prove that you're sufficient in English or you have functional English. Ensure the occupational health and safety standards are met. I also had to prove that I have a genuine intention in partaking in the program, that while I was there in Australia, I didn't have any other plans but just to train and expand my skill set. And after the internship program, that I have every intention to go back home to the Philippines. I also need to have an adequate health insurance, which was provided by my internship provider in Australia. So I had to directly purchase that health insurance through them. And also to be of good character. So I had to provide a police clearance such as the NBI to meet that requirement. To be assessed for my eligibility, I had to submit 3 documents. The first one is my CV or my resume. The second was my school transcript, like university transcript, as well as my reference letter from my previous employment in the US and reference letter from my professors in the university. So what to expect during the first stage of the assessment. So I need to pass the eligibility criteria for the visa. So once that's done, I was set up to do a pre-screening interview with my possible host organization, which is done through Skype interview, or it can be a written one, a written email. Next stage is to activate my application by submitting my secondary requirements, such as my medical insurance, as well as bank statement that's stating that I have the financial capability or the financial support by my parents that is above 4,200 Australian dollars at that time. So today it might be different, so during that time it was 4.2. And also submitting all my application forms for my program provider, also submitting my payment fees, going through a competency review through my previous employer to assess my skill set if I were suitable for the internship program. So receiving the letter of acceptance is the second stage of the process. The next stage, the third process, is completing the health check, which is a requirement for the Australian immigration, just to see that the applicant is healthy to enter Australia. So I have to be, I have to make sure that I submitted my documents on time to avoid delays, because it can reflect on your waiting time for visa notification or visa approval. So after getting my visa approval, finally, I needed to submit some pre-departure requirements to my internship program provider in Australia. So one is the visa notification and RSA, since I work in hospitality, and the evidence of itinerary. So the itinerary has to be a return flight because I was on a temporary visa, so I had to make sure that after the internship program I had to go back home. After that long process of assessment and submission of documents, getting my visa, I was bound to schedule to depart for Australia. At the end of the day, it was a learning process, and it was a learning process that I was excited to go through because I was building my future. So it's something that it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of grit, especially with the preparation side of it all. So everything that takes a lot of time is going to be worthwhile. So there you go. For a quick recap, you just go to homeaffairs.gov.au and search 407 at the search button, and then you can actually see the full in-depth details of the training visa and all the requirements. If you love hearing my stories on my journey to Australia and would love to learn through my experiences, well, make sure to hit that subscription below. And next up is how to apply for a student visa, so don't miss that. I'll see you next time.